New details emerging this hour stemming from a disturbing incident caught on camera after an injured dog was dumped like trash.
All right, guys, so here we are, and we see some protests going on for Rusty. No justice, no peace for Rusty. So you want to tell us who you are and what's going on?
I'm Dr. Nicole Eller, and I'm a veterinarian here in Bakersfield. I work for the city shelter. And Rusty was a dog that was thrown into a dumpster. It's on camera from the business, and she was left there with her eyes bulging out in the heat, 9 hours. And she finally passed shortly before animal control was able to get there. We're asking for a complete investigation. We would like to have a necropsy done on the body to determine the cause of death. Preliminary opinions were that the dog was hit by a car, but I would like to confirm that with a forensic necropsy.
17 News has now learned the dog named Rose has died. 17's Rob Hagan has more on the case of animal cruelty, and a warning to you, the following video may be disturbing.
There's a lot of animal cruelty that happens in Kern County. I'm not from here. I've lived here in Kern County for 3 years, and I've never lived any place like this before. I've never seen the amount of abandoned dogs, dumped dogs, cats in trash barrels, just horrible stuff. And it's a well-known fact that animal abuse can lead to human violence. And I know that we have high rates of child abuse here in this county. There's a lot of crime that happens, and a lot of times people that start perpetrating those crimes will have started on animals. So there's a link. It's called the Link, and there's actually a whole Link coalition that's an international group. They do studies and they do research, and it's been proven all over the world that animal abuse leads to human violence. And I think that we need our leaders here in Kern County to take a more serious look at this and to start holding these people accountable so that they don't proceed on to further worse crimes. Not to say that animal crimes are not, abhorrent. We don't need to be doing this stuff. And I think there's a lot of factors for that in Kern County, and I think we need a lot more education, and we just need people to take more responsibility and step up and be good.
The Kern County Animal Shelter says Rose died from blunt force trauma injuries, most likely from being run over by a car. This is video of someone wrapping the injured dog in blankets before tossing her in the dumpster behind a locked gate surrounded by razor wire and jump-proof spikes.
What could the government do to help the situation with the dogs?
Well, we actually have laws on the books. We just need them to be enforced. Prosecutors need to take on animal abuse crimes. They need to be investigated in a proper fashion. Law enforcement and animal control needs to work together instead of just tossing it back and forth to each other and not taking accountability for, who's taking care of this problem. And I think that the city officials just need to take it much more seriously and enforce the laws that we already have in California.
It happened 2 a.m. Monday behind Rusty's Pizza Parlor on Niles Street. A worker with Rusty's Pizza says a homeless man brought their attention to the dog crying in the dumpster, and they called animal control.
What about the people? What can the people do to help the situation in Bakersfield? If not everywhere, but at least here.
Well, I think a huge part of it is to stop breeding. Backyard breeders are a huge part of the problem. Dogs get dumped. We get litters of puppies at the city shelter every day. Spay and neuter your pets. Make them part of your family. They're not just things to sit out in your backyard and make money off of. And a lot of times you're not making money off of them anyway, because we end up with litters of purebred puppies dumped that they can't sell. Right. Just spay and neuter, take responsibility, have some heart for the animals that are part of your family. And if you see something, say something. If you see somebody doing something they shouldn't be doing, if you see somebody dumping a dog, we have laws against dumping dogs. Yet people do it all the time. People see it happening. People record the license plate and nothing gets done. So, you know, if you see something, say something.
Kern County Animal Services found the dog in the dumpster at 10:41 a.m. Tuesday, more than 8 hours after she was tossed in the trash. The worker thought Rose was dead until Rose picked her head up and whimpered.
I've never lived anywhere like this before. It breaks my heart on a daily basis.
Veterinary surgeon Nicole Eller saw the video. She says it's a case of animal cruelty.
Should the government pay for the spay and neuter of animals?
Well, we've got a lot of programs that are helping with that. We've got a lot of nonprofit programs. We've got Together Spay It Forward that raises money to do spay neuter for free for people. We've got the SNP bus that does it for very low cost, $20 to $40. You know, I try and do as many as I can for the shelters. I mean, there's resources out there. Simi Valley Spay Neuter just opened a brand new clinic here in Bakersfield. They also do low cost spay neuter. So should the government help? Yes, I know the government has lots of problems to deal with, and there's not enough money to deal with everything. But, you know, I think that there are programs out there. People need to take advantage of those programs. If they need further help, reach out. We have things that can help you.
How can they find those programs?
Online, if you look at both of the shelter websites, those will give you lists of spay-neuter resources. If you just Google spay-neuter resources in Kern County, it'll come up. You know, we've got a lot of options for people to try and do what's right. We just need to take advantage of it. And I think part of it is education. You know, we need to get more into the communities. And there's another group called Kern Safe, which is Saving Animals from Euthanasia. It's a coalition of rescues and stuff around Kern County, and they are doing a lot of canvassing in neighborhoods, trying to get the word out there about low-cost spay-neuter. They sponsor the SNP bus, and we also do like no-cost vaccine clinics. We do low-cost microchip clinics.
Wow.
So, you know, just to help people get what they need for their pets, and so that they're not just, you know, running loose on the streets and getting hit by cars and whatever else. So there's resources. We just got to get them out there. We just got to educate people.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank
Nice
you.
talking to you.
You too. Thank you.
Picking a dog up and putting it in a dumpster, it's not dead, is, I mean, there's nothing right about that. There's nothing right here. There's nothing right here. You know, there's just, that's against the law.
Kern County Animal Services Director Nick Cullen says Rose was deceased upon our arrival and she appeared to be an American Pit Bull Terrier mix. Significant blunt force trauma, the type of trauma we typically see as a result of an animal being hit by a moving vehicle, was likely what led to her death, though immediate veterinary care may have saved her life. Cullen said it's not known how Rose's injuries were received.
The only way to really tell for sure would be to do a full necropsy of the animal, which means an autopsy in animal terms.
Let me tell you, I sent her to investigate because I don't trust the county. I don't trust animal control that they're investigating like the other cases.
Cover it up until it goes away.
You know, so people will stop. Well, I told her go. I mean, it's like this tall garbage can. It has a gate around it, wiring, and how can he
get her in there?
How did he pick up that dog?
Opened
the lid and threw her in there. You know what? That person had a key because that thing was locked. And he knew there were cameras because my friend, he tries to see people's faces and move it in different directions. Said that every time he moved it, the face was glaring. So he goes, he must have been using like a nylon on his face. So, I mean, and somebody knows what happened.
What do the cops say? Do they say that it was like the kind of incident where it was like the dog was in the street, so it's nobody's fault, right? That's what the cops usually say.
This is what they're saying, okay? That she was hit by a car at a high speed, and that's why her eyes were bulged. First of all, if you see the video, there's no blood on her body, none. At least one drop, you could say, okay, maybe, okay? And then, oh, well, it was trauma to the head. You know, in order for your eyes to pop, I would have to like hit you so hard on your head that your crane pops and pop your eyes, okay? So, we want a necropsy. I don't know if it was performed or not, but by law, they have to keep the body until the investigation is over. So,
But we don't know if the investigation is over. We don't know if they've actually kept the body. We know nothing.
Who's investigating? BPD?
It's supposed
No,
to be
it's,
Kern County Animal Control.
It's
Kern County Animal
the
Control.
sheriffs and animal control and county. Well, the prior ones that's happened of other animals, it was the same thing. Oh, we're investigating, blah. It's like he paste and copy, you know? And then people just get tired and move on, and he thinks this time, oh, you know, we're gonna let it go. Not this time. You know, this poor baby deserves to be investigated and find out, because they're saying there's a witness, but this witness does not want to go to Kern County, does not want to go to the animal control, because he feels that they're not going to follow up, and he doesn't trust them. So I called the sheriff's department, and guess what? The sheriff goes, oh, that goes to animal control. I said, do you understand we have a witness and he needs to talk to somebody to make a report so they could be something legal and be able to take it to the DA and prosecute? But it's not happening. So I'm going to go in a different route. I call Karen Go, and I'm going to forward everything to her so that way they can push, because we need somebody to push this. I mean, they're giving everybody the runaround thinking this is going to stop. And I made a promise to this little girl that this, I'm taking it to the end if it's the last thing I do. I want justice for her.
Law enforcement will not investigate. It's totally up to the shelters to investigate and turn it into the DA. And if that doesn't happen,
It's over.
it's over.
So,
They won't get involved.
you know, they said, oh, we went ahead and we released a video to the public. Come on. She went over there. There's cameras on all the shops. There's cameras all around. Why are they not subpoena all the people that have cameras? All of them, including the sites. There's cameras everywhere. Where, you know, they need to subpoena all those people to get the video. Not only that, I mean, where supposedly this person came from, it was supposed to be Isabella Avenue. Well, there's no Isabella Avenue. There's an Isabel Road, and it's 1 minute away from Rusty's.
Wow.
So, you know, there's too many things here that are not adding up.
And no one has come forward to say that that was their dog, right, or anything like that. Or how did you guys, or how did the people find out the name of the dog?
Okay, we called her Rusty because she was found at the garbage bin on Rusty's Pizza Night. The Rose part, they say, because I don't know, they say that county gave her that name.
Oh, really?
Yes, but I don't know. You know, we won't know until everything is investigated.
Right.
Does she have an owner?
Right,
Did
right.
she have a chip?
None of that's come out yet.
Nothing. They don't want to disclose anything. We requested a case number, and by law, for people,
Right, they're supposed to
they
have one.
can't give you. They can't give you because you put them in jeopardy. But for animal control, they're supposed to disclose the case number. They're not disclosing if they're doing a report, if there's a case number, if the investigation. All he says is investigation is going on, ongoing. But what is it? I mean, they have to come out and say, this is what we found out.
If you find an injured animal in need of immediate care, call Animal Control because officers are on call 24/7.
I have never lived any place like Kern County where you see the number of abandoned animals, injured animals, dumped puppies, dumped kittens. People need to step up and take responsibility for their animals.
The worker at Rusty's Pizza Parlor who found Rose said her eyes were popped out of her skull from the impact. If you know something, say something and email animalservices@kerncounty.com. In Bakersfield, Rob Hagan, 17 News.
They're not doing anything, and it's frustrating to us. And I mean, this is a crisis. You know, county and city need to get together and figure out how to fix this problem. Because animals are dying at the orchard. Babies are dying of parvo, being eaten by coyotes. So this needs to change. There's a law, you know, but they're not enforcing it. That's the problem. Nobody's enforcing it. Because if they start taking the lead and enforce it, I guarantee you people will think twice to do something in harmony.
Well, thank you so much, and I think you answered some questions for us, and definitely I believe that they should investigate this and give the people some answers, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's what people are asking for, is answers.
Yeah, that's what the people are doing right now. They want answers.
Right.
That's why we're here protesting, because we want answers of what happened to that poor little girl. I don't want her life of 8 hours of torture and agonizing pain to just be in vain. You know, I want it to mean something.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.